Are we but a train accelerating off a cliff of no return? By Oatmeal, Joey, Arnold. How close to the cliff might we be? Are we doomed to fall off the cliff? The bad news is the train of globalism is accelerating faster and faster. The bad news is we don't know how close we are to the edge of the cliff of no tomorrow. But the good news is, as the train of globalism accelerates at exponential rates each second, so does the opposition. I wanted to explore the nuance of this illustration today. Here is a photo of a train falling off. I don't know if there was a bridge or what, but it was falling off. This is what I wrote yesterday. I like to think about these things. Wanted to write about the current state of humanity. I think about this sometimes. There are many illustrations that can help describe where we are in the world. I was thinking about the analogy of the Titanic economically. While this is a powerful image, it may not paint a good enough picture as like a clip might. So I wanted to talk about this and read this article a little bit that I wrote. However, like describe this stuff, it would take a while, and this article is not very long in comparison to everything that's happening and history therein. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. You can look at it, stop it, look at it, or go to my website and look at it. But I wanted to skip ahead a little bit and go to the next paragraph. I wanted to briefly describe the illustration of the cliff we are falling off. I wanted to share with you the details relating to what is happening on this current timeline of world events and everything that we know to be of a reality. For this article, I'm using a simple photo of a train going off a cliff. There must have been a bridge there in this photo. There's no longer a bridge. Humanity as a whole and in general is that train, regardless of whether or not there were bridges or what have you. There seems not to be one right now. Our train is not only rushing towards a cliff of genocide and depopulation and everything in 2013 when you will own nothing and be happy. You shall be happy eating bugs and meat once a year on your birthday. After most people are dead. 7 billion, 8 billion. There should be less than 1 billion people by 2030, maybe 500 million people. That's what they want if we are not able to stop them. All kinds of people I'm talking about, globalists and technocrats, a lot of different kinds of people. So going off a cliff, we're going off a cliff. We are like a train going off a cliff. Going off the cliff. I don't know what's at the bottom. I don't think there's a pot of gold. I don't think it's like a rainbow. I think it's a lot worse than that. Don't know exactly what's happening. The good news is as the train marches towards the cliff of no return, then more and more people scream, the sky is falling, or they scream, the British is coming, or they scream, the werewolf is coming, or they scream, the Trojan horse of Troy is coming, or they scream, the fall of the Roman Empire is coming, or they scream, the fall of the days before Noah, the ark, the global flood is coming. Or they scream, Titanic, the giant shipboat that not even God can sink, is singing. Or they scream, the city of Atlantis is falling. Or they might scream, the end of the world is coming. All of this stuff that I am saying is a lot. And not a lot, because there's more to it than that. A lot more to it. I don't know what is happening. I do know that there's a lot of different things happening. Some of this might be speculation. But nonetheless, a lot of stuff is happening, and there's always more to it. There may be some fake news and some of those things that you might hear about. There's a lot of nuance of different things And so it's really hard to know exactly what is happening. I'm not here to tell you what is or is not happening, except to say that a lot of things are happening. We can apply logic, science, patterns, evidence. These things are based on laws of physics, science, reality, the very fabrics of time and space. Granted, we may not know everything, which means we need to be careful either way we look at it. We may come at these things in and through different perspectives and what have you. Things relating to the future, what's going to happen, what might happen. We may not know completely or partly. Like, a lot of things are happening. We will lose if we don't try hard enough. And we may lose no matter how hard we try. It's not binary that we either will or will not fall off the cliff. It's like people are falling off the cliff each and every day. It's happening. A lot of collateral damages. A lot of things are happening in various degrees. The bad news is we are accelerating towards the cliff at exponential speed. The train is going faster and faster as we go towards the cliff of no return. It's going faster and faster and faster, and every second it's getting faster, and that's worse because the closer you get and the faster you go, the more likely you're going to fall off and never come back. Never come back. Never ever come back. So it's going faster and faster, so it becomes a question of whether or not we survive or how badly we suffer. How many people will have to die or what have you. The good news is truth tellers are telling truth. That's why they're called truth tellers and freedom lovers, fighting against the control freaks out there. My perspective is in trying my best to do what I can to help share truth on the internet. My perspective is not an extremely depressed one. I'm not black-pilled. I'm not going to try to judge people who are. However, I would like to compromise with them in order to find ways to get along with them. Well, the black-pilled perspective is that we cannot stop the end of the world from happening, or there may be variations to what they may want to believe or what have you. It's like a spectrum. A spectrum! I'm on a spectrum. Don't make fun of me. Get off of me. I'm like Frosk. I like saying Frosk. It's funny because I get cold sometimes. You probably shouldn't put everyone in political boxes. We do that, and it's good and bad to do it. There's a reason. There's a time and a place to do things, including boxes. Some people can they can put people in the left box and other people in the right box. Politically, it's not that you can't do that, but it depends on who is defining the terms. What does that mean? What does is mean, said Bill Clinton in 98 during the Monica Lewinsky scandal. Well, it depends on what is mean. So, oh man, I used to laugh about that. That's why it comes back to me, because I would tell my brother, say Monica Lewinsky again, because her name was funny. Monica Lewinsky, and I would laugh. As a 13-year-old boy who didn't know anything about politics, an innocent little 13-year-old in 98 in Oregon. Oh, what happened to the good old days when you used to run around and play? And sometimes you might run into what looks like right. And, sometimes you don't know. You don't know what's happening. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if there's any spelling errors in this, which usually a lot of times there's a lot of problems in not only are my videos messed up, a lot of videos I put up, I don't like a lot of my videos. I also don't like a lot of stuff that I write. I write stuff, and then I look at the stuff that I write, and I'm like, what, you forgot this, you forgot that, or what is, I don't know what you're writing. I kind of get what I'm writing here. So I'm talking about okay, you gotta know the differences between all these different words, and I list a bunch of words. I like writing down these words, so I wrote down a bunch of words: communism, democratism, corporatism, technocratism, cartels, vampires. I'm just gonna skip over some of these words and things, but there's a lot of different things and stuff that I listed. Some of it may or may not be conspiracy theories, which may or may not be true to any extent, absolutely, or to any extent, absolutely, or not absolutely, or it depends. Really depends. I'm not saying yes or no. I'm not saying it's binary, because information is all over the place, right or wrong, or what have you. But all this stuff is happening. You got a train going over the cliff, or almost going over the cliff, or maybe we're already falling into the valley as we speak. Maybe the train's already gone. Maybe we're already in hell. I don't know. To use another analogy, we are at the end of a basketball game. We are losing a rigged basketball game. Rigged basketball game. Rigged. Okay. So to speak. Each second they are collecting points somehow. We may only have seconds left in the game. Each second, more and more freedom lovers wake up. They come off the bench to play. So there is an acceleration of the points we are making, but also the points they're making. But then maybe we're making more points than they are, but perhaps they're a lot more ahead than we are. Maybe they're a million points ahead of us, and maybe there's an acceleration of the points we're making that might be going faster than the points they're making. But it's really hard to say who's going faster than the other, except to say it's the end of the game, or almost the end of the game, and you don't know how much time there is left. Steve Quayle might be saying we will lose this game. I don't want to put words in his mouth. Some people do say that we will lose. I will not say we will lose for sure. I will not say we will fall off the cliff, or how badly it may or may not be. But I will say I don't know. I will say I will try my best. I will say Hong Kong, and let's go Brandon. Let's go Brandon. I believe in trying my best to do what I can do to inspire others to do what they can. Each day I try to do things both online and offline. I encourage people to do what they can do. It's critical to know which problems we face. I decided not to list all the problems we are facing right now. And to skip ahead, I'm skipping ahead. You can look at that paragraph for a second, stop it, look at it, or go to my blog to read it. I'm going to skip ahead. 5G, geoengineering, some other problems like Kivad. I like to use an anagram to say Kivad as an anagram. But I don't know if it really matters if you say it or not say it. But it's good to know what the problems are. I do talk about some of these problems. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. Problems. I talk about problems on my blog and in videos and stuff. It's critical to focus on the root of the problem, not just the symptoms. Don't focus too much on the puppet leaders. They're puppets. Puppets are not powerful. They're only controlled oppositions or scapegoats. They're dead and powerless. They literally have something up their ass. That's what puppets are. Like Yoda in Thumb Wars. Stick my tongue to yours. That's what he said in that movie. As a silly little parody movie called Thumb Wars. A parody of Star Wars. He was a funny little Yoda, a funny Yoda puppet. He was like literally a puppet in Thumb Wars. Yoda the puppet. Forget Baby Yoda. We don't need Baby Yoda. All we need is puppet Yoda from Thumb Wars. Try to find out who the bad guys are. what did I say? Find out who the bad guys are, and find out what the lies are, and connect the dots. Make videos about stuff and upload them, and all that kind of stuff. And my stuff's not copyrighted or patented. You can clip me if you want, or don't clip me. Don't put me in a meme. Never do that. Some people like roll your heart. Some people do it. I'm trying to make a joke, and I'm trying to say like 10 things at the same time. Then I start to mumble, and then I don't say what I'm gonna say, or I don't say it, and then I was gonna say something else, but then I decided not to. Then I kind of forgot what I was gonna say, and I was like, I'm gonna say one thing, and then I didn't say it, and then I was gonna say another thing. Then I end up in the middle of like 10 words. It's kind of like Michael Jordan going up, and he's gonna make a dunk. He's gonna make a layup or something, but then he sees a guy is gonna block him, so he goes back down and he goes up, and he goes goes down. He's holding the ball. He goes down and he goes up the other side of the hoop, and I kind of do that with my talking, except it's not that graceful. So anyways, I'm just saying my stuff is not copyrighted, and I have an article that talks about that. You can take my stuff and steal it and stuff, and share it and stuff, because I just want the stuff to get out there. This article right here that I'm reading is incomplete. My conclusion is I don't know what will happen, but I try my best to prepare for the worst. When playing NBA basketball, some of the best players out there, like Michael Jordan, would not necessarily focus too much on what the score might be at any given moment of the game. In life, you should focus on winning, regardless of how many points you might be behind or ahead. The Blazers were 15 points ahead with only a few minutes left in the game, but Kobe and the LA Lakers came back to win. That must have been 2003. If we are ahead, the Globalists would still come back, or might come back from behind to win, like the Lakers did in the early 2000s. You never know. Or come back someday, either right now or 20 years from now, 100 years from now, in a few years from now. You don't know. I don't know. You don't know. You never know. Good or bad, you don't know. So sitting around being like, oh, everything's all right, or having a mentality that might be a little bit too excessive in pacifism, nihilism, apathy, all that other stuff, ignorance, is retarded. You're retarded. If you are too sucked into the black hole of all of those things, and probably other things too, a lot of things. They're all like hand in glove. They all work together. All of those things, and more, probably more, but especially those things. Some of those words are some of my favorite words. I like to say it, and I say it. I like to say stuff. Sometimes I just say stuff. Random. I like to be random. The random recognition person. That's me. Oatmeal Joey Arnold coming with you wherever you go. Come in here with another video. Come in here to make trouble in your neighborhood. Telling you to get up, wake up. Tell your neighbors it's on fire. The roof's on fire. Your house is on fire. It's like some of these things are terrible, and it's like, it's fun to talk about, but it's also terrible, but it's cool. It's cool and it's terrible. It makes me a little bit bummed up. Bummed up? What does that mean? I don't know. But here, all I can say is pacifism will destroy people. Has destroyed people. Pacifism, nihilism, apathy, ignorance. I should make a rap video about it or something. I don't know. But and I didn't even mention them in this article. I don't even know why. It's like some of my favorite words, and I didn't even mention. Oh, we gotta fight, not just the globalists, not just the lizard people. Which I don't know if there's lizard people. I seriously am what's the word? What's the word when you don't know if something's true or not religiously? An agnostic. I'm a lizard agnostic or something. What's the other word? There's agnostic and and ignore it. Wait, no. I wanted to make a joke. I was trying to say a word and I didn't say it. I wanted to say a word like exhausted or ignorant or something, but I couldn't say it. If we are behind, let me continue reading the article. Because now I'm just starting to ramble. Like Rambling Rod. If we are behind in the game of life, we can still perhaps come back to win the game. Now, people are dying. Bad things are happening, so I'm not saying some bad things will not happen. Because they're already happening. The truth of the matter is complex. Blah, 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 and messy. The truth is bad things are happening. It's not just about what might happen someday in an imaginary hypothetical future. No, not at all. Because things happen. So many things are happening each second, good and bad. I could give you a long list of things until the cows come home and the Power Rangers explode. No, your head would explode. The naked Power Ranger would explode. Yes, there was a naked Power Ranger. 10,000 views. What? No, that can't be possible. If you only knew the power of the dark side. Why aren't you making a movie about that? A show about that? Darth Vader. That's all I want to see. I want to see George Soros and Darth Vader make a baby. But don't give up. Like in sports, you play it until the last second of the game or until you are taken out of the game by the coaches. Leave it all on the throne. On the throne, the Game of Thrones. No. Leave it all on the court. Good thing we are doing stuff. Good things are happening right now. Bad things are happening. And good things are happening. You got to be aware of both. You must see the good and the bad together, hand in hand. That's critical. That's overlooked a lot. I cannot emphasize how important that is. I can probably scream and yell like Alex Jones and saying, "What do you understand? What don't you understand?" I could. I think about doing that. I don't know if I should or if I want to. I do and I don't sometimes. Bottom line, you gotta help people see the good and the bad. Some people are too focused on the bad. Some people are too focused on the good. Again, I cannot emphasize how important this is, what I'm saying. I say this all the time for a very long time. You don't want to do that. 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 Oh, don't want to do that in the hood. You don't want to do that even if you could. There's so many reasons why you don't want to do either one. Which we don't have time to talk about. We don't have time to discuss right now. Too many reasons. So many reasons. So you have no idea. The best reasons or the worst reasons. I don't know. I don't know if I'm talking too loud. I know that I'm not loud enough. I'm not clear enough. There's so much I want to say. You want a focus on both the good and the bad and the ugly. And not one or the other. You can focus and emphasize on things when you work. When you do things, you can focus. But even in the midst of the grind of the work you do, it is critical that you have a general perspective of the bigger picture of everything. Perspective is critical, and we lose sight of that too often in life. You gotta have a 35,000 foot view. You gotta take a step back. You gotta see the good and the bad, and you gotta be able to navigate. The train is going off a cliff right now, but limited perspective blocks us from knowing when the train will be diving nose deep into the valley of the unknown. Don't know how many people are jumping off the train or where the hell they're going. Don't know if we can fly away. Oh, fly away, oh, glory, oh, fly away. Oh dear God, stop singing. and tell me, how do I get out of this mess? Oh, if only I knew how to get out of this mess, I would tell you. Don't know if we can find hoverboards for Marty McFly from the Back to the Future movies from the 1980s, which also features a train going off a cliff in the third and final film of that trilogy. I don't know how much time we may or may not have, as the Dead Wing Dork would say. I don't know. I can't get that out of my head. There's a lot of things I cannot get out of my head, like globalists, lizard people, Greta saying, "How dare you!" But I am not just gonna sit on the train and do nothing while saying, "How dare you gonna eat all my potatoes and green ham." Green ham, what a terrible thing to eat. You think of where you can go. All the places we can go with the green eggs and ham. And try to go there. That does not mean we get there, but it does mean we try. I wanted to write this article to describe the complexity of this analogy I'm trying to paint. I'm trying to personify several competing forces and factors happening simultaneously. The evil is accelerating a train off the cliff at an exponential rate. I cannot personify the gravity of that exponential rate. What does that mean? It means faster and faster and faster, and then it just multiplies, and then faster and faster. It's like 1 times, and then 2 times, and then 4 times faster, and then 8 times faster, and then it's like, what's after that? Then it's like 64 times faster, because it's like 8 times 8. And then 64 times 64 was what? I don't remember. But it's a lot. But the number gets bigger and bigger. I'm just saying, it just gets faster and faster. The problems, the bad stuff, the bad people and everything, especially the last few years with Agenda 21, which goes hand in hand with a lot of things that's been happening the last few years with the lockdown and everything that's happening. It is basically Agenda 21, or I forget what Agenda 21 was, but it had something to do with what would happen in the year 2021, and for many, many years, going back so many years and decades, people would talk about it. Some people would talk about Agenda 21, and then we got it in 2020, and in a lot of ways, it was happening in 2020, and it continues to happen. A lot of things happen gradually, and they talk about stuff that they want to do, the bad people. It's not that they're working together. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. We're talking about the bad people who try to take over the world, and some of them do take over some of it, a lot of it, some of it at times. It's not binary at times, at least. It's all up in the air. A lot of things are happening. It's not like they all work together, but it is a big mess. And so it's like people, try to escape the destructive train of doom or the sinking ship that is diving towards the tip of the iceberg. Well, I have to say this article is but the tip of the iceberg. I'm going to stop writing for now and stop talking for now. I've decided not to make any videos or memes or other things at the moment to help personify this whole realm in depth to this diverse illustration until now. However, a million memes relating to this idea would not do it justice, but nevertheless, we continue on. We press onward. There's a picture of me from 2015 in Vietnam at a party thing. Link to groups I have. Forbidden forecasts of infinite altitudes. Daring endeavors for endearing souls takes you to reset wars. Finding Oatmeal before Oatmeal finds you. Article on where to find me. This is the article I wrote yesterday. cold are we but a train accelerating off a cliff of no return. As it gets closer and closer and faster, here is the train by Oatmeal, Joey, Arnold. Thank you for nothing or something. I would encourage you to do what you gotta do to not fall off the cliff. A lot of people are falling off the cliff. There's a lot of things you can do to save a lot of people. Maybe you can find a rope and throw it at people and hope that they can grab it before they fall all the way to the bottom of the cliff. And maybe, I was just thinking, maybe you can go down, climb down the cliff, and find some people down there. And maybe some of them are okay, or not dead. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how this analogy works.